Hey everyone, it's Grandmaster Ben Finegold. I haven't made a video in a while because I've been busy. This is our chess center, Chess Club and Scholastic Center of Atlanta, atlchessclub.com, atlchessclub.com/donate, even more important. And if you want to play in our tournaments, atlchessclub.com/events. Come to our website. We have a lot of pages, a lot of information. You can join on the web. You can see our tournaments. You can see who our employee is and get chess lessons, and come on down on September 9th and join the club and get free food and drinks. And then after September 9th, no things free. Rawr. Yeah, I'm already here because we have a lot to do. There's probably about 100 more things to do, and we do about 8 to 10 things a day, and we're opening in 10 days. So we'll be ready for the chess stuff. There's some technical stuff that I won't go into that's complicated, but we still have to paint and put TVs on the wall and put some other stuff up and get some pictures and so forth. But for the most part, we're doing pretty good. Okay, today I want to look at a game that I played against Danny Rensch in the National Open a long time ago, many years ago. I think it was about 12 years ago, I want to say. I played Danny several times throughout the years. I think he's beaten me twice. And I've beaten him. Maybe this was the only game I beat him, but I thought I beat him another time. Oh, I beat him in the U.S. Chess League like 5 years ago. So maybe in tournament play, he's ahead of me 2-1. I seem to remember a draw. Oh, yeah, we drew when that was actually the game where I got my Grandmaster title. I should remember that. Anyway, Danny and I have interesting games. Okay, so I'm white, Queen C2 Nimzo-Indian, obviously. And Danny played C5, which is very common. I took. And now some people play Queen A5, some play Knight A6, some play Knight C6. I think castles is the most common move. Usually here now I play Knight F3, but I used to play A3 all the time. Then they take. And, well, you still can't play Bishop G5 because of this well-known, Bishop takes F2 trick, and then Knight G4 check, and then I guess he takes my bishop. Yeah. So I played Knight F3, I assume. Yeah. Okay. And played B6. He can also play Knight C6. I've had that position often. Now, normally I play Bishop G5 lines, but I decided for some reason to play Bishop F4. I think Bishop F4 is actually more common. I just never play it. So I figure, okay, I'll play it. Play something new. Okay, and then played Knight H5, which is a common idea, trying to get rid of my bishop. Of course, if he takes my bishop right away, I open the H file up, and then I'm actually threatening Queen takes H7 mate. So he played Bishop takes F3. Actually, Bishop takes F3 surprised me. Normally, they play stuff like F5, which is almost never legal because the knight's on F6. But okay, and that blocks my queen, controls E4. But he decided to mess my pawns up. I guess if he doesn't do that and I play Bishop E2, then he probably has to play Knight takes G3 pretty quickly. So, okay. And then he played F5. Now F4 is pretty serious, I guess. I don't want to allow F4. So I played F4. Now, as I like to say, I could talk about this position for an hour because I get paid by the hour. But at first glance, it looks ridiculous for white to have a bishop on G3 and all his pawns blocking it. But I've actually seen this many times, and it actually works out well for white. Because white has the two bishops, and you might say, well, the bishop on G3 is bad. That's correct. The knight on H5 is also bad. If he ever takes my bishop with his knight, then he straightens out my pawn structure, and I have a nice pawn structure. If he doesn't take my bishop, I'm going to attack his knight. Queen D1, bishop E2, queen E2, lots of ways to attack it. If he plays knight F6, so that my bishop is no good, I can play bishop H4. The bishop's fine. Also, it keeps your king safe. If I ever play bishop G2 in short castle, my king's perfectly safe. I think the first time I had this kind of position where the bishop on G3 was trapped was against Yasser Seirawan in the 1994 U.S. Championship, my first one in Key West. And it was actually round 2. It was funny, round 1, I had forced mate against Larry Christensen, and instead of mating him, I lost. And in round 2, I had a drawn opposite color bishop ending with rooks against Rr1, and I lost that easily. So I started 0-2, good start. And he had this pawn structure with white, with the pawns on f4, e3, f2, and h2, and the bishop on g3. And it was just, king was very safe. But I can't allow f4, so I had to play f4. Okay, so he played knight c6. I played rook d1, because that's where the rook goes on the open file. And he played a6. I guess he's stopping knight b5 forever. And I played bishop g2, threatening bishop takes c6, rook c8, and I castled. So yeah, my king's pretty safe. Okay, he finally took my bishop. I don't think I would have done that, but he had a reason. His next move, he played queen c7, and he's going to eventually put pressure on the c file. That's the big problem White has in the queen c2 Nimzo, which I have often, is my c4 pawn is weak. Although usually I'm not fianchettoing my bishop. In this variation, not when I play a3. When I play knight f3, I often play g3. When I play a3, and then I play e3, I'm always playing bishop e2. But yeah, normally I don't have a pawn on g2 that went to f3. So it's so different than normal that I can play bishop g2. Okay, so that makes my c pawn not the safest. But okay, I have other advantages. So he took the bishop, and then he played queen c7. I guess if he plays queen c7 right away, he was worried I would go here eventually. And then my bishop seems reasonable on the diagonal. His knight on h5 probably has to go to f6. Okay, so he played queen c7. I played rook c1 because my rook on f1 really couldn't go anywhere, and I want to defend my pawn more. Makes sense. Knight b8, he's playing the Breyer variation of the Nimzo-Indian. It's never been done before. Well, I don't know what to say. I wouldn't play knight b8. Yeah, so I'm not a fan of that move. Okay, knight a4, makes sense. Queen a7. So he's eliminating all of his pieces on the c file so he can do something with his rook and my queen. Maybe he play d5 or b5 later. So I move my queen away from the c file. Okay, and we improve our position. And I finally played e4, threatening his f-pawn. And he played g6. And I took his bishop. Well, it's not clear which way black should take. They both have their advantages and disadvantages. But it's pretty advantageous for black to control the d4 square, so that explains his move. But it's really bad for his rooks. So I don't know. I mean, probably they're both bad. I think my king's a lot safer than his, and I have the open d file, and I have a queenside, possibility to advance on the queen side. So I think White just has a big advantage here. He took with a pawn. Okay, so obviously if he can get a knight d4, that's looking pretty serious. And then he can eventually move his rooks to the b file if he wants to activate his rooks. So, okay, rook d1, queen b6, rook d2, triple on the open file. Sort of, I guess it's a Finegold gun because it's Alekine's gun is the queen in the back. But I'm from Detroit, so I'm going to bet on my gun over Alekine's. Okay, he played rook f8. And I played queen c3. It's funny, like almost every move, the last 3 moves, it's like e takes f5, e takes f5. But this was a long time ago. I didn't even know my own rules. So, yeah. Now I played e takes f5 like 3 moves after the computer wants me to. Okay, and the reason is, I want to open up my bishop. I want to open up for my rooks and my queen. And it's time to open up the game. So e takes f5. And he played knight d4. Well, he's losing anyway, but if he takes on f5 with something, I think the engine wants me to play rook d6, and then I'm sort of squeezing him. Can't really move anything. So he played knight d4, yum, yum, yum. And there's a lot of good moves here. I played b4 because I'm trying to hit his pawn on c5, which is defending his knight. So obviously, if it was my move and I played pawn takes c5, he would resign because his knight's hanging. So he played d6, and I had all I can stands. I can't stands no more, as Popeye would say, and I took that knight. I don't have to take the knight, but I thought this was a pretty easy win. In general, I would prefer a bishop and 2 pawns to a rook almost any day. But here I have a safer king. His rooks aren't very good, and he has 4 weak pawns, and my pawn structure is great. So These pawns are particularly weak because they're not protected and they're near his king. So he put his king to good use defending both of his pawns. I attacked his d pawn. He defended it. I can't take on g6 because he takes on d4. Even though that's if he had too much to drink. Okay, then he would take on d4. Okay, so I played rook e4, piling up on his e pawn, piling up on his e pawn more. And now, unlike now, I actually calculated correctly and played a good tactic. So I don't want to say white's a play and win because I think almost every legal move wins, but this is the best move. So pause your video and try to find a really strong tactic here for white. I'll wait. Okay, so the best move, which I played, is bishop takes e6 check, and Danny played king g7. The idea is if he plays rook takes e6, I pin his rook. I like these variations. They're easy to calculate because he only has one move, rook e7. I play f5. He only has one move, takes, and then I check. Now, if he moves his king, his rook's not defended, and I'm 3 pawns ahead. So, okay, in rook f6, queen check. Now, it looks like if he moves his king away and I take his rook, my f-pawn's hanging, which is true, but he only has 2 squares for his king, and they both allow me to take the rook with either check or checkmate. So he can't play queen f2 check. And in fact, I win all of his rooks, so if I want to. And king e8, queen takes e7's mate. So that was pretty easy to calculate because he only had one move in every position. So he didn't take my bishop. He played king g7. And again, a lot of moves win. I think the engine likes bishop d5, but I played queen c3. I think my move's better. I'm pinning his rook, and he can't escape the pin. Sounds good to me. So I'm going to play g4, g5 if he doesn't do anything. And if you see something he can do, let me know, because I don't see what he can do. Played rook e7, which doesn't really attack my bishop, because his rook on f6 is pinned. So g4. And he played g5. And once again, if you remember the previous variation, when I don't have an f-pawn, he has queen f2 check. It's not too late for me to blunder. So f takes g6, queen f2 check is not good. However, I can stop queen takes f2 check, and I did that with c5. And now he resigned. It's funny, when the engine is on for like 5-10 seconds, it doesn't play c5 at all. It plays other moves that are +5, +6, +7. Then when you play c5 and it thinks for like 4 seconds, all of a sudden it's +30 and +40 because it realizes what's happening. So, well, here he resigned because, well, when I take this, that's the end of that. And if he takes this and then takes this, I just keep taking things. And you can see this king and pawn ending is not good for black. So, yeah. So after c5, he resigned. That was a pretty good game. That was at a National Open where I did pretty well, I think. And, yeah, Danny has beaten me at least twice. I beat him in the U.S. Chess League. We had a draw. And then I thought I beat him another time in a tournament, but maybe I imagined that. Probably. So that means in rated chess, Danny has a plus score against me. And since he doesn't play anymore, it's hard to improve that standing. Not that I'm playing a lot, but I play more than Danny Rensch does. So this is our chess center. It seems like a couple of the issues with the webcam, I think when I sit really close to the webcam, it's better. And sometimes I was sitting on my sofa and I had the computer further away than maybe it should. And the internet here is better. It's a little bit stronger than our house, but more importantly, there's nobody using the internet here. And when I tested it yesterday, it was like 85 download and like 19 upload. And I'm sure that's much faster than our house. It's really fast. So I think for video quality, if I'm at the chess center and there's nobody using the internet, you're going to like this better. Coincidentally, I haven't started yet, but I'm going to make videos, a DVD series for, I think it's iChess. And they sent me a webcam, which I haven't set up yet. You know, it's a, put on your computer. This is the built-in webcam. I think this webcam's fine. I just think there's issues with the internet and the lighting, and, a friend came in from out of town, and my car broke down. And locusts, yeah, that was the main issue. So hopefully this is a little better quality. Game was pretty good. I've never made a video of this game because I've played thousands of USCF rated games, and I've won most of them because I'm usually higher rated than my opponent. Between 1976 and 1982, I did not win most of them. I actually have a lot of those games too, but you don't want to see those. I'm not kidding either. There's some stuff you don't want to know. But ever since like 1982, 83, I played okay. But man, oof, those games between the ages of 6 and 11, man, there's good and there's not good. Those are not good. Okay, so we need lots of money. And I never ask for donations in my video, never. And man, opening a chess center is expensive, and this is going to be really nice, nicer than you can imagine. So if you were thinking about coming down for the grand opening, you really should. We have people coming from Florida, Michigan, Tennessee, obviously Georgia, and hopefully Alabama, and hopefully other states I don't know about yet. We're expecting about 100 people to show up on September 9th. We're having a blitz tournament. We have free food and drinks. So please come to our chess center and enjoy everything that we got. I'll be making a video. I post videos on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram when we do new stuff here. And in about 3 or 4 days, I'll post another one. So if you follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you can see how the chess center is running. Right now, you can just see the back wall. So that's fascinating, and so forth. Okay, like and subscribe here on YouTube. Is this YouTube? Yeah. And I'll try to make more videos, but we're just here every day working. But okay, it's 8 in the morning, so I can make a video before I go to work. And see you guys next time, hopefully with a game with better players, but I did whatever I could. All right, bye, everyone.